And up next, ladies and gentlemen, we will have another panel shifting gears to discuss an important topic on empowering Web3 talent as well as workforce. We're pleased to have Mr. Victor Yim, Head of FinTech from Hong Kong Cyberport, to do us the honor of moderating the session. Let's all welcome Victor on stage, please. Thank you for moderating the session today. And to invite our panelists, and they include Professor Douglas Arner, Kerry Holdings Professor in Law, Associate Director, HKU Standard Chartered FinTech Academy. Welcome. Professor Wilson Tong, Director, AMTD FinTech Center, Center of PolyU Faculty of Business from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Welcome, Professor Tong. Professor C.K. Chan, Program Director, FinTech Division from CUHK Engineering FinTech Applied Research Academy, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Welcome. And Mr. Tommie Lo, Founder and CEO of Preface. Welcome. All right, welcome, gentlemen, on stage. So, Victor, the floor is all yours.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, my honorable guests, for joining us here at DES. It is really my honor to be your moderator. So I guess we are very intrigued by all the previous panel discussion as well as keynote speech. We talk about a lot of important and very insightful issues and topics. And now we go into the Web3 talent. So I think just like one of our key mission being the Web3 Hub is to help the talent development as well as the awareness and the education. So this panel is about the Web3 development, how we could attract Web3 talent to the city and nurture local Web3 talent. In this panel, we will discuss various aspects in the workforce challenges, including the key skills and knowledge required to succeed. And also the various opportunities for individuals to upskill and the strategy that organizations looking to enter Web3 can use to foster a vibrant and diverse Web3 workforce. So first of all, let me introduce our honorable guests. Besides me is Professor Douglas Arner, Kerry Holdings Professor in Law, Associate Director, HKU Standard Chartered FinTech Academy. And then we have Professor Wilson Tong, Director, AMTD FinTech Center of PolyU, Faculty of Business, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And then we have Professor C.K. Chan, Program Director, FinTech Division, CEFAR Academy, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And then we have Mr. Tommie Lo, Founder and CEO of Preface. So first of all, may I let the four of you give us a little bit of introduction about your program and your specialties, and especially in related to Web3. Maybe start with you.
Thanks for that, and thanks for the invitation to be here. It's really great to see this going on and to see a great turnout and some great discussions over the past 2 days. You know, when we think about universities, universities are really core to any sort of innovation ecosystem. And at Hong Kong U, we've really focused on, I think, 4 different pieces. One is the policy, the regulation, the strategy. A second is actually on tech research and development. A third is really from the standpoint of human capital development. And the fourth is really from the standpoint of commercialization and entrepreneurship. And when we look at this, we really look at it as being a core interdisciplinary process bringing together finance, technology, and law and regulation. And from the taught standpoint, we have a wide variety of online programs in English, Chinese, and now Arabic, as well as taught programs at the undergraduate and master's level, and an increasing range of entrepreneurship support programs as well.
So, Professor Tong, I understand PolyU has been like staying really up to the market, having a lot of innovative courses like metaverse, carbon neutrality. So can you explain a little, elaborate a little bit about that for us?
Sure, sure. So first of all, thanks for having me here. And I guess we'll have opportunity to talk more about PolyU different initiatives. And talk about the center that I'm responsible for. It started a few years ago, essentially on the FinTech side. The idea is, I guess, like other universities, we want to contribute to the development of the FinTech ecosystem in Hong Kong and the talents as well. And then we focus on research as well as training and education. We probably the first one, still the first one, launched a Doctor in FinTech program in Hong Kong a few years ago. And other than that, and then Financial Secretary actually mentioned about that delivering a FinTech professional qualification training examination in Hong Kong. We PolyU are a center involved in doing this training as well. And our center also work on research and work on several projects on FinTech and tokenization and asset tokenization, that sort of initiatives.
Thank you, Professor Tong. So, Professor CK, you are from the engineering school, so I think that also say something about the emphasis of the FinTech education for CU Hong Kong. Can you introduce us a little bit?
So thank you for inviting me, Victor. In fact, I think Chinese University decided to create a FinTech program, start from 5 years ago. We're the first to offer a Bachelor of Engineering in FinTech. And the decision is also to put it into engineering faculty, because we would like our graduates to be technologically sound, plus a commercial sense, right? So Fin and Tech combined together, but strongly on the tech as well, right? So this is how we started the program. And I joined Chinese University with many years in banking technology, and also trying to make our program very practical and very well connected to industry. I look after the Master of Science and Postgraduate Diploma program in FinTech at Chinese University, and we've been very successful to attract top caliber students, and also very involved with the industry banking sector in terms of undertaking industry projects. So very well connected with the latest trend. Hopefully our students will get to the industry without much learning curve. That's the intention, yeah.
Thank you, Professor Chen. Hey, Tommie, so I think you probably need a bit of time to explain us your own businesses and how it's related to Web3, and maybe also your cafe with very good wine.
Oh, thank you, Victor. Thank you for the invitation. It's very nice speaking here with all the university professors. So basically, Preface is one of the leading technology content and technology training company. We quite a lot of Fortune 500 companies train tech with us. Late last year, a lot of technology contents were about Web3, blockchain, how the usage of blockchain, the developments of blockchain, the implementation of tokens and everything. And let's say this year, or in the first quarter, it's everything about AI. But then still, so basically we do technology content training. But then we become a pretty good complement to university content, which is, because for university to build a program, that might take a year or 2 years. But then when we build content, we have to be real fast. So the content could be launched in a week, could be 2 weeks, using the mass expert pool to do validation, to do some sort of examining. So basically we do fast content creation and fast content training to the industry players.
Thank you, Tommie. In fact, when I first met Tommie, he introduced a very good concept like I think everyone have been to like lunch and learn, but then he introduced the like dinner to learn and wine to learn, which is a very good idea. So first of all, I want to go back to Professor Chen. So I would like to ask you about the more hardcore questions. So what are the specific skills and knowledge that you believe would be most important for individuals, whether they are going to enter university or already graduate undergrad and looking for postgraduate course, if they want to enter this vibrant Web3 industry now with all these policies and interests from all over Hong Kong and the world?
Yes, Victor, I think I always believe that students or graduates has to be very well prepared fundamentally with basic theoretical concepts and technology training, right? So I would say for individual wanting to enter the Web3 space, he or she must be very well familiarized with the technology, the underlying technology, the blockchain, architecture, the way smart contracts are being used, and also a good understanding of the opportunity and the business and commercial perspectives. And that includes the concept of the new business model of DeFi and how that will impact on traditional businesses, and also understanding of the regulatory environment. That's why our program is very much in close liaison with the regulators. Our students are being given a one-week workshop to understand the forming regulator impacting on FinTech areas before they enter into the workforce. So I would say, in summary, good technological background, training, a good commercial sense, an ability to learn quickly, and also open to all the things that are happening around us. Be very alert of things happening, able to spot our trends, and then to be bold in taking bold steps forward. I think that's the key.
Yeah, very good sharing. I mean, all that adding together is actually quite challenging. So, in fact, I recently took a blockchain technology and distributed ledger course by my very honored guest here, maybe sitting outside, Professor Yu. And I have the luxuries to have all these experience in the commercial world for so many years. So I got the like relatively easy for me to understand like what exactly blockchain is bringing to the problems, but not just another database. Like, because we all see a lot of blockchain projects just make use of it as a database, which is not very good use of it. So Professor Tong, understand that the Web3 industry is very new and also like really evolving, having new topics every day. Like now, all of a sudden, ChatGPT become connected into Web3. So, so in order to keep up the relevancy and knowledge of the course, what are the challenges that you are seeing, and what like strategy PolyU is taking to address those?
Right, indeed, there are a lot of challenges. I guess the previous different speakers and panels already emphasized or already mentioned how innovative, how new, and how dynamic, right, this area is. And since you talk about GPT and ChatGPT, right, so I'm thinking about, well, we worry about whether our programs would train students relevant, important technique. Maybe the student would ask, hey, with the ChatGPT, do we need the professors? Do we learn more from GPT than from professors? So that would be our concern as well. But not exactly the joke aside, right? Talk about how to train our students, right? I guess there are several ways of looking at this, right? First, as CK mentioned about that different universities have all these programs training. So you have the technological setting background. So we talk about Web3, still we talk about blockchain technology, we talk about smart contract, we talk about AI, GPT, machine learning, and IoT. So all these technologies are fundamental anyway. So our existing programs could give well training to our students in this level. But of course, when we talk about current keep changing the situation, so how to give our students more relevant, up-to-date knowledge, that indeed a challenge. And I believe our university are all launching new programs. So let me give an example in our PolyU, right? Other than the Doctor of FinTech program that essentially is updating our DBA part-time program into the FinTech area. And actually we have other programs. Let me give a couple of examples. One is the Master Science in Blockchain Technology. Right. So this is, other than just blockchain technology, also talk about the application of DApps, DeFi, and then edge computing, that sort of areas, right? And then we have another master science program in metaverse technology. So metaverse, people talk about all this, but how about the applications? We talk about the digital twin technology, talking about application in web, AR, VR, that sort of stuff. So we believe that all these new programs indeed give edges to our students to keep them really up to date. Right? But on the other hand, maybe we can also think about the problem is we may not want to be that close to the actual involvement. The essential reason is, well, who knows, right? So there's maybe hypes, or maybe just fads, who knows 1 year, 2 years down the road what would happen, right? So may not be, we want to keep that close, right? So that is another dimension. But we'll talk about challenges, and I would suggest that a few ways that we can do this, right? One is interdisciplinary education. That would be important. I guess CK also mentioned about, other than just computing technology, programming, coding, we also need a business sense, right? We talk about innovative creation, application. And unless our students understand the pulse of the business in different areas, I shouldn't even say business, because Web3 application need not be just in finance or business area, in different areas, right? So interdisciplinary, it is by nature the blood of Web3, essentially, right? So we want to have this. And how to do this? And actually, I believe university focus on the research side already. Again, let PolyU as an example. We at the university level, we developed an academy called PolyU Academy for Interdisciplinary Research. We call it PAIR. So under that, then we house different research centers, research institutes, so integrate all the research together. But that is a research side. That's important, of course, for our students. But in terms of education, it's important as well. So again, allow me to use back the example, the Master Science in Blockchain Technology. It's not just a blockchain. We also talk about DeFi, DApp, and then in different DeFi applications. And then we talk about the metaverse technology. We talk about the UX UI interface experience, and then the design. And then we have that program work with the School of Design to talk about the design psychology, that sort of thing. So it is, but that is not enough, right? We tend to, or university students tend to have a major or minor whatever. But nowadays, think about this. A major, minor probably is not enough. It's really interdisciplinary, right? So you have talk about social science, talk about psychology, talk about the finance, the accounting, all of this. That would be very important, right? So that is one thing. The other thing is how to bring this together or let our students have really feeling the pulse of the current situation is to have, I believe, Hong may more about this PPP type of model, right? I mean, in education, we also want this. University want to have partner with the industry. So the industry people, they know the pulse, they know how the direction moving. Then we professors may not be that updated, right? So we love to have industry people giving us advice about program setup and also be our adjunct professor, professor of practice, and teach our students. That's important. And the last thing I want to mention about, so look at the forum today. Very important, very useful. But have we seen any students, college students there? I'm afraid not many. Well, we have to pay a couple of $100. All these important forums and summits, actually, I would suggest, actually, maybe the organizer or maybe the government or companies try to support or finance and give the students chance. Think about this. Web3 is what? Web3 is, I would say, is a digital inclusion. So now everybody's in a Web3 system. And think about our students actually could be important players there. There's a perspective saying that, well, whether the DApps are really good, the developers, good developers should be involved as the players as well, so that they know what's really needed, right? So the students, our students are probably already involved in the Web3, right? So if they have this kind of experience and what they're lacking is to interact with the industry, with the players, about the business, how about the startups. So let them have a chance to join this forum summit, interact with the industry people. That would be very helpful as well, right? So let me stop here.
Thank you, Professor Tong. So we all know a lot of the blockchain project or Web3 project are in the form of DAO. And actually, the other day, one of the foundation who is registered in Switzerland was asking me, should we register a company in Hong Kong? So, in fact, the legal and regulatory framework is very important to support the innovation in the Web3. So, Professor Douglas, can you share with us, like, how do you believe, like, legal experts can play a role in shaping that evolutions?
Yeah, thanks for that. And I think, you know, the starting point is when we think about finance, finance is one of the world's most globalized industries, it's one of the world's most digitized industries, and it's one of the world's most regulated industries. And that means that if you are working in any aspect of digital finance, you have to be able to understand all three of those pieces. And I think if we look at this from the standpoint of core areas, I think it breaks down nicely into sort of four pieces. The first is, let's say, from the standpoint of a student. If you're a student and you want to understand what is happening in finance around you, whether that is FTX or Silicon Valley Bank or Bitcoin prices, you have to understand the finance, you've got to understand the technology, and you've got to understand the regulations. So the first bit is really that interdisciplinary combination. The second is really from the standpoint of a business. You know, there's an old joke that if we think about a FinTech startup, usually the first two people, one is from Fin, the other from Tech. Who's third? Usually someone from legal. Why? Because immediately when you have businesses, you have to deal with contracts, you have to deal with employees, and if you're dealing with finance, you're dealing with regulation. Now, if we're looking at growth areas of employment, what has actually been the fastest growth area in financial services employment over the past 30 years? It's actually been compliance. Compliance has been the single most rapidly growing area of financial services employment. And so when we think about finance as an industry, it's inescapable. And this means that when we are thinking about it from the standpoint of lawyers and legal, lawyers have to understand the technology, they have to understand the finance, and they have to understand the business picture. And the final one is really the point that we've been talking about, I think, in every single session and panel today. And that is really from the standpoint of the strategy, the development of the market, and the role that law and regulation plays in making those markets function. And I think that if we want to think about something, it takes the technology, it takes the finance, but I think our experiences over the past 14 years with this area really highlight that it also takes an appropriate regulatory framework and a need to understand how to develop those frameworks to support the development of the industry.
Thank you, Professor Douglas. So, Tommie, could you let us know your experience in what are the most effective way in like upskilling individuals? I know you have like global presence, so maybe you can also share some of the global trends to us.
So we are talking about Web3, which is very new. And if you know that when certain tech topic is hot, news comes every week. Now when ChatGPT, it comes every week. Last year when we talk about blockchain, it comes every week. So that's why the way that we do reskilling project, digital transformation project with corporates, they need to be updated. So instead of just getting the new recruits from university-trained individuals to get into the corporates, they need to reskill their staff. So, so that's why we get our content first by doing social listening. So we need to know what are the hot topics on, let's say, on Google, on Discord, Twitter, social media, news, and then we need to validate it, and after we validate it, we would invest in certain contents. Let's say this week, everybody, let's say 1 week in last summer, everybody talk about X to earn, move to earn, play to earn, some Web3 concept. Then a lot of our corporate, like luxury retails, they would want to know what it is, and they would want to see if their marketing directors, marketing team can apply it. Then we would then develop our contents, do the validation within 2 weeks, and deploy it. And then we would somehow move fast, sometimes fail fast, but then correct it and relaunch it again. So this is kind of our experience in doing quick reskilling project in the industry. Because sometimes in the industry, they don't have time to wait. And they're also second big pain point for most of the HR directors from the large corp. Say they will want to hire a head role in marketing, in sales. But then the head role likely have to work in Web3 projects. So for someone who are in head role, you want 10 years of work experience. But then 10 years of work experience, also with official training in Web3, digital, AI, those are mutually exclusive characteristics or traits in the market. So that's why we go the way that you get the head role first, but then we do onboarding training. So before that individual onboard to the banks, to the luxury retails or to the tech firm as a head role, we reskill them with the latest technology content. So this is how we do it. So basically from customers' pain point, what they ask for, and also from social listening, what are the hot topics?
Thank you, Tommie. So we only have a few minutes left, so maybe I'll have one question to all the panelists, and maybe each of you could give a little bit of your comments. So I think today we have a very good panel of a mixture of the interdisciplinary and also between the academia and the commercial training. So what do you see like professional training or commercial training could complement or supplement academia training. So what are the potential synergy between the two? Maybe to start with you, Professor Douglas.
Yeah, you know, I think we've all highlighted the sort of synergies with research. We've highlighted the sort of interdisciplinary approaches to education. We've highlighted the sort of interactions with business. But actually, what I really think is the most important is actually getting our students directly engaged in entrepreneurial activities. In other words, we want to encourage people while they're at university to start businesses, to advance some of these ideas, and we want to be able to provide, in the context of both the university ecosystem as well as the broader ecosystem in Hong Kong, the encouragement, but also the support to do that.
Thank you. Professor Tong?
Right, I guess another important point is that university education is not apprenticeship. It's not kind of drilling training. Actually, more important, I guess all the speakers talk about this, is technology is important, but if you really want innovative ideas, and then especially in Web3, right, so open to everybody, right, talk about DAO, and then talk about, now even for talents employment, we talk about recruitment 3, we talk about software as a service 3, so all this. So the key thing is, we want our students to be innovative, to know how to use this technology to apply in different areas, right? So if that's the case, more emphasis shouldn't be on the technology itself as such, but rather than all sorts of stimulation, education, training to inspire them to think dynamically and connecting dots, kind of like this.
Professor Chen?
Yeah, I agree with all the comments. So I think professional training definitely is complementary to university training. University will prepare our students with fundamental knowledge and a wide set of skills, right? Professional training is part of the continual learning that our students need to always be able to do that. And so I believe that that combination is the best for the industry.